Hello guys, welcome back to a new video on the Wondersphere channel where we talk about everything Fortnite Creative related. Today I'm going over the trick tile device once again. This is updated for 2025, so let's get right on into it. So this device was actually requested by someone's comment I saw yesterday. So you can find this device in your content creative content devices tab. If you type in trick, it will pop up right here, trick tile. And as I said, this is an updated video because things have been changed to this device. So it now has a zone. So you don't just place this down normally. It's a zone, so it's kind of like a mutator zone or any other barrier like zone in the game. It affects everything that is inside of this zone. So let's go right into the settings of it. Coming over here to the 4 lines where we get all of our settings. The first setting we have here is enable at game start. Would you like this to enable at the game start? You can have this on or off. Up to you if you want it enabled at the start. Next here we have selected team and invert selected team. The selected team is just whatever team you want this device to affect. So it can affect team 1 if you set that to team 1. But if you click invert selected team to on, it will invert team, so everyone except for team 1 will be able to activate this device. I'm going to turn this off for now. The next down here, we have selected class and invert selected class. So our selected class, we can pick whatever class we want, and then we can invert that just like we did with the team settings. Next here, we have activation delay. This is the amount of delay it has between the trap being triggered and it being activated. So that means whenever the trap gets activated, there will be a delay of however much you set right here. I have this set to 2 seconds, but say you want to set this to 5 seconds, you can do that right there. Next here, activate on game start. Do you want this to activate as soon as the game starts? So whenever you click the start game, it'll automatically hide everything that's in the zone of this, which I will show you in a second. You can have this on or off. Next here, trigger on player contact. Do you want this to be able to trigger whenever a player goes inside of the zone of it? You can have this on or off, up to you. And you can actually, you will be able to edit this live when your game is being played in your functions tab, which I'll show you after. Next here is trigger feedback. That means do you want the things inside of the zone to bounce in color, bounce only, color only, and or none. So bounce a color is if you want the things inside of the zone to shake before it breaks. If you want it to bounce only, color only, or nothing, and you just want it to disappear. I'll show you what that is in a second, and once we get our zone set up, which is right here. So our size units, here we have, you can either set it to tiles or meters. This is just, the size units are just saying what units do you want to use for the zone width, depth, and height. You can use it in tiles or you can use it in meters. It's completely up to you. It'll switch it here. The meters is like whenever you mark something in game, that's how many meters away you are from it, just like that. And then tiles is right here, each individual tile, just like that. So we're gonna go back into here and we're gonna set this to tiles for me because I like tiles. You can use meters if you want, but basically we're gonna set the zone width, depth, and height to whatever we want. I'm gonna set it to 2, 2, and 2, or 3, 2, and 2. So there we go. And it will give you more description here. So say I set it to 2, it doesn't say anything, but if I set it to 3, it says 4 vertical. So there's some extra details in depending on which one you select. And if I click OK there, it should make a zone just like that. So my device is tilted, that's why it looks a little funky right now. So if I rotate this device a little bit like that, it will create our zone flat, and you can place this wherever you want. And then everything inside of this zone will be affected. So say I place a wall just like that, and maybe like a cone or a ramp. All of these things will disappear when the trick tile gets activated. So if we scroll back down here to reset after use is the last setting, we can have this on or off. And once you do take this to on, it will give you a reset time. Because if you're saying you need to reset after use, how long do you want that to happen? You can set however you want here. So I'm going to set mine to 2 seconds. So that means what I have set so far is after this device gets triggered, it will wait 5 seconds before it gets activated, and then after it gets activated, it will wait another 2 seconds before it resets and puts all of our builds back down. Next, coming over here to the functions tab, we have our enable and disable settings. enable the device on a channel, disable the device on a channel, or like when receiving from. That's like on every device ever. Next here, we have trigger when receiving from and reset when receiving from. So you can reset the whatever's in the zone. That means to show it again when receiving from an event, or trigger when receiving from an event, which will get rid of the devices just like that. So next here we have enable player contact when receiving from and disable player in contact when receiving from. These two settings are what I was talking about over here in the trigger on player contact. You don't have to set this right now, but like this will be the initial state that it's in, so you can have trigger on player contact on. And if you set this to on, that means whenever your game starts, the initial thing that it will be reading from is this, and it will be on. But later in your game, if you want to change that, you can do enable player contact to disable when receiving from any one of the events. Next here is toggle when receiving from. So toggle, this will I don't know why this is on the bottom here. I feel like it should be under the enable and disable settings. But toggle will literally just toggle between the enable and disable states, just like it says on the bottom there. So if you want to toggle it from enable to disable or disable to enable, you can do that right here when receiving from an event. The next one here is toggle player contact trigger when receiving from. This will toggle the player contact. So it's basically the same things that the enable and disable are doing right here for the player contact, but it's just a toggle. It makes it easier to toggle back and forth between the different things. So overall, we have enable, disable, the toggle setting that goes with it, and then we have the enable and disable for the player contact, and then the toggle that goes with that one. Moving over here to the events tab, we have on activated send event to. So this, and on trigger send event to. So basically on triggered is the initial trigger of when the player will trigger it, and the unactivated is when your props actually get hidden. So if I do on triggered, you can send an event, and unactivated. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to place a barrier device just to show you. And if you do not know how to use this device already, I will link it in the iCard right up here. So I'm going to place down a barrier device, and we're going to make this initially, we're going to make it enabled during game phase none. And then in our barrier, we're going to go to our enable settings and do trick tile on triggered. And then it will disable with our trick tile on activated. So basically what this is saying is whenever we first initially step into the zone, the barrier will turn on, and then as soon as our items disappear, our barrier will turn off, in theory. So let's test this right now. Here we go. So we're in our game, and I just stepped in my zone, and the barrier went on and off, and our devices are breaking, just like that. So let's test this again. So I'm outside of the zone, and let's give it a second. So here we go. So our barrier is currently disabled, but as soon as we get in that zone that we created, the barrier will enable, just like this, enable, and then as soon as our devices get activated, it will get rid of the barrier device, and then 2 seconds after, everything will revert back to normal. And if I stay in the zone, it'll keep repeating that, but we don't want that. So that's basically how you use the trick tile device updated for 2025. And if this video did help you out, please leave a like and subscribe. It does support the channel a ton. And if you have any further questions, you can leave some down in the comments below. Or you can join our Discord for more live interaction, live help. And we do have a ticketing section to help you guys out with all your questions. And if you do want to support me even further, you can use code peeper in the Fortnite item shop. That's code peeper, P-E-E-P-E-R. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you all in the next one. A sister out.